Good morning and happy Thursday to the Ungovernables, the Captain's Crew, the LFA family, McGroin Nation. We're coming to you live from the deep red state of Tennessee on rumble.com/LFA TV. Welcome to Ungoverned. Finally back. Oh my goodness, yesterday killed me. Thank you.
You guys should have seen him. He was going from like a level like 5, like okay, this is okay, to a level 10. The whole neighborhood was going to be.
It was going to be a big problem. Big problem. Thank you to the great Will Johnson for covering on short notice yesterday. Will is the GOAT. Thank you to the great Will Johnson. Everybody here who held it down and supported Will while he did that. That was great. What happened yesterday, we got a patio put in. They did a great job. And we thought we found the internet wire. It was turned out to be a different wire, which we found out which wire that was once it was hit.
Yeah, all of a sudden we were like, our internet.
So the internet went down, and
we should go see.
Had to come back and the whole thing. So, but it's good to go. It's good to go. We're back. Obviously, we're live. Here's our we do the proof. We got the live chat on the screen. So there you go. We are live right now, and I was so excited yesterday to do the show, and then not to be able to do it, not even just the logistical issues, like all of a sudden, a few minutes before we're supposed to go live, we can't. So again, a big thank you to the great Will Johnson for doing that. But man, this SPLC stuff, what it had, what that meant personally because of what they did to us back on Long Island. So I was able to jump on Kevin's show yesterday for about a half hour, and we were able to kind of take our little victory lap there, and there'll be a little bit more of that here, and all the good stuff with the SPLC. We have the Virginia redistricting mess. It did pass. It passed by a much slimmer margin than anybody forecasted. It was very close. I would say, and look, this is something that I want to get away from as a whole, okay? Because I see this too much. I'm going to preface this by saying every election in this country has some level of voter fraud. That's the truth. That's the truth. Every election has some level of voter fraud. There is fraud in every election, and that is not okay. All right? I believe the margin in these elections about between 1% and 2%, maybe a little bit higher in some, maybe a little bit lower in some. 1% or 2% of the vote is probably fraudulent for whatever reason. Okay? Virginia passed by about 2% and change. I would say that is on the outskirts, right on the outside, about the high side of the plausible fraud margin. Okay? Meaning, I would not be shocked if the results of the Virginia redistricting election, I would not be shocked if fraud changed the outcome. I would not be shocked. But what I want to get better at as a movement, we cannot blame every single election loss on voter fraud. We can't do it. And it happens every time. I see it happen every time. If we lose, it's because they cheated. We know they're cheating, but that's not the only reason why we lose every time. For example, the New York gubernatorial race in 2022. Do you know how many people still that I hear, Zeldin actually won? No, he didn't. No, he did not. Guys, I worked that race. I did hand calculations and projections for hours about that race. He didn't lose because of voter fraud. And that's not, well, what do you think? Fraud doesn't exist? I didn't say that. Why must we make up things that I said? I didn't say that. I said that's not the reason we lost. Of course I want to get rid of voter fraud. Of course I want to secure our elections. But two things can be true at once. I believe that there's voter fraud, but I also believe that sometimes we just lose.
Yeah, voters are lazy on the Republican end.
Now, in Virginia, with this redistricting referendum, I'm telling you right now that it is possible that fraud tipped the scales and changed the outcome. It's possible. The reason why I'm saying that I want us to be careful when we talk about this is because we are dealing with a very connected world, the internet, right? I'm not saying it because I want to be a pain in the rear end. I'm saying it because there are active demoralization operations being run on us right now. And the reason why I'm telling everyone when we talk about voter fraud, and this is not a new position, I've said this, I've been saying this ever since 2020 was stolen, and I believe that was stolen. When I say we need to be careful when we talk about voter fraud, it's not because I don't think it exists. It's not because you're afraid to talk about it. I've been talking about it for 6 years, okay? The reason why I say this is because if you say it enough, every time we lose, it's fraud, they cheated, it's rigged. That is going to demoralize people and keep people from voting. That is going to demoralize people and keep people from voting. And that is what the left wants. I know this is hard to hear, but it's true. If you convince inadvertently, I know this is not the goal of those who talk about voter fraud, but if you inadvertently convince somebody that there's so much fraud in our elections that your vote doesn't matter and they stay home, that hurts us, right? That's why too big to rig is the right way to message about voter fraud. That's why when we lose a race by 1 point or 2 points, and we know that there's a good chance, at least a plausible chance, that fraud was the reason why we lost the race, we should address it, say, hey, this is within the possible fraud margin, but also look in the mirror and take some extreme accountability and say, we were not too big to rig. We were not too big to rig. Next time, we will be too big to rig. Instead of saying it's rigged and they cheated again and people get into this demoralization cycle where it's like, well, what's the point of even trying anymore if they're just going to keep cheating and beating us by 1.5 points every time? That's what the left wants. Don't play into that. So to wrap that portion of it up, I'm not saying fraud doesn't exist. I've acknowledged it for a long time. I'm not afraid to talk about it. I've acknowledged it for a long time. I have maintained, this has been a stance that I've maintained for a very long time. When we talk about voter fraud, we have to be careful that we're not making it seem like it's not beatable. When I hear someone say, selections, not elections, they get blocked immediately because that is someone who thinks and is telling people their votes don't matter. Your vote does matter. 2 weeks ago, I showed you an election in North Carolina. Their Senate leader on the Republican side was beaten in the primary by 2 votes. Your vote matters. Okay? Address the voter fraud. Talk about the voter fraud. But when we do so, please talk about it responsibly, because if you're putting forth this message that the fraud is unbeatable, that no matter what, the fraud always wins, you are going to inadvertently, I know this is not your goal, but this is what's going to happen, like what Lynn Wood did before Georgia in 2020. You're going to convince people that participating doesn't make a difference, and that is false. That is the goal of the left. The left exists So to acquire an unbreakable stranglehold on power, and the best way for them, the easiest way for them to do that is if their opponents stay home. So please be careful. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Virginia definitely could have been impacted by fraud. I'm not taking that off the table. Lee Zeldin in New York, there was fraud. There wasn't 6.5 points worth of fraud, is what I'm saying. All right? Because I did the calculations and figured it out. Well, we needed it. We didn't get it. The voters were there. They didn't show up.
Isn't it kind of known, too, that like Republicans are lazy voters?
Yeah, we have an apathy problem.
Especially when Trump's not on the ballot.
I've been saying that for a long time, too. I'm not the only one, but yes, we have an apathy problem. And in Virginia, I'll tell you what, the apathy problem was less evident in this vote because it passed by a very slim margin, which means people did come out and vote, which is a good sign. We'll get to all that. We got to get into a couple of things first. Let's get to a word from our friends at OFP Farms. OFPFarms.com, 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 promo code SHAWN, OFPFarms.com, promo code Sean. It's Mother's Day, 20% off until Mother's Day, May 10th. OFP Farms Mother's Day gift boxes are more than just a gift. They are an experience. This Mother's Day, give mom more than a gift. Give her a moment to feel pampered and truly treasured at OFP Farms. Every single product is handcrafted right on the farm using fresh goat milk and grass-fed tallow, rich, nourishing ingredients that her skin will love. It is more than just skincare. It's a daily reminder that she deserves to slow down, care for herself, and feel appreciated. For a limited time, enjoy 20% off of your entire order with the code Sean, SHAWN. Clean ingredients, small batches, real results from OFP Farms to mama's skin, because mom deserves to feel this good every single day. Go to OFPFarms.com, use the promo code Sean for 20% off, and now enjoy a very, very nice, peaceful video from the farm. OFPFarms.com, promo code SHAWN. There you go. OFPFarms.com, promo code Sean for 20% off. Next up, a word from our good friends at tryarmra.com/LFA TV. It's Armra Colostrum. Nature's first food. Colostrum is a superfood. You guys know, I'm always on the lookout for ways to strengthen my immunity and my gut health, improve my fitness and metabolism, and enhance my skin and hair radiance. That is what Armra Colostrum can do for you, and then some. Colostrum is the first nutrition we receive in life, contains all the essential nutrients that our bodies need in order to thrive. It can help reactivate your hair growth, help your skin glow, can help fortify your gut health. That's the big one for me. It's been great for the gut. Ignite your metabolism, and it can help fuel your fitness, performance, and recovery. Check it out at TRY. That's Armra, ARMRA.com/LFATV, tryarmra.com/LFATV for up to 30% off of your entire order. That's tryarmra.com/LFATV, TRYARMRA.com/LFATV. All right, let's get into Virginia. A judge. It's fun to see the judge is actually doing something right for a change. A judge has blocked the Democrat-led redistricting effort ahead of the midterms. This is going to have to play out through the courts, and this is going to become, I think, a bone of contention and very interesting case to follow. I saw a lot of people saying that these rules violated Virginia's state constitution. If that's the case, then this judge got the ruling right. It's going to go probably all the way up to Virginia's state Supreme Court level, which leans Republican. And when I say leans Republican, it's because of the appointing body, right? Who appointed these justices? There are more Republican appointed justices than there are Democrat appointed justices in the Virginia state Supreme Court at this point. That does not necessarily mean that this is going to be, blocked for good. Doesn't mean that they're going to rule in our favor the whole way. But a Tazewell County, Virginia judge put a temporary stop to the state's new redistricting measures that were passed on Tuesday evening by a very slim margin. Said the plans cannot go into effect ahead of the 2026 midterm congressional elections. The judge ruled that the referendum was unconstitutional, and newly minted Attorney General Jay Jones vowed to appeal. The appeal was brought by the Republican National Committee against the commissioner of the Virginia Department of Elections. The referendum would permit the state legislature to redraw the congressional districts and proposed map, which takes it from 6-5 over to 10-1. After the appeal from the RNC, Jay Jones said, my office will immediately file an appeal in the Court of Appeals. I said last night, Virginia voters have spoke, and an activist judge should not have the veto. Oh, it's funny how the left wants to say activist judge. Interesting. Got it. Cool. That's Attorney General Jay Jones, who, remember, is the person who wished death on his political opponents and her kids. Here's a little bit more. Bill Malugin reporting on this Virginia redistricting court quagmire yesterday.
Virginia Governor Abigail Spanberger celebrating the win in yesterday's redistricting vote. Voters narrowly approving a new pro-Democrat congressional map in a controversial referendum that critics have slammed as a, quote, power grab. The outcome threatens the already very tight Republican House majority. Mark Meredith is live in Alexandria, Virginia, with more on this. And Mark, that vote ended up pretty narrow.
Bill, it sure did a lot narrower than some people were expecting, and Virginia voters showed up in huge numbers to determine Tuesday's redistricting referendum. This morning, Democrats are celebrating the outcome, saying they're putting a check on President Trump's power, but Republicans say this is simply proof that Virginia has lost its way. More than 3 million people cast their ballot in what you said was a narrowly defined race. However, voters chose to give the legislature power to redraw congressional maps before November's midterms. The new map is expected to take Republicans down from 5 congressional districts to 1. We heard from the chair of the National Republican Congressional Committee, who wrote, Democrats can't redraw reality. This close margin reinforces that Virginia is a purple state that shouldn't be represented by a severe partisan gerrymander. Democrats say they felt emboldened to act after Republicans in Texas redistricted too. Governor Abigail Spanberger and former President Obama, they were the ones leading the effort in the Commonwealth. We heard from the former President Obama saying Republicans are trying to tilt the midterm elections in their favor, but they haven't done it yet. Thanks for showing us what it looks like to stand up for our democracy and fight back. So Tuesday's outcome means, yes, that Democrats have a better shot now at taking the House come November, but other states are still weighing whether to redraw their maps. As Politico points out, pressure is now growing on Florida Governor Ron DeSantis to make up for Democrats' gains with a GOP-led redistricting effort in his state as soon as next week. And while voters decided here in Virginia, there is another X factor in all this, Bill. The Virginia State Supreme Court is still deciding whether or not this will all be able to stand. There were multiple challenges to this redistricting referendum, including how the language on the ballot was written, and we are waiting to see what the court may decide next.
All right, there it is. So there's your reporting on the Virginia State Senate. New maps. Virginia court judgment from the Tazewell County judge ruling reads that the court grants final judgment in plaintiff's favor on all counts of their verified complaint. Court states that the referendum violated House Joint Resolution 6001, and any action taken thereon is invalid. Expansion of the General Assembly's call to the governor for the 2024 special session. It violated Virginia's Constitution. Article 12, Section 1, there has not been an ensuing general election for the House of Delegates, and such ensuing general election cannot occur until 2027. So the judge is citing elements of the Virginia Constitution that is saying, hey, you did not follow the procedure that is written here in the Constitution. Okay? They're like, oh, whoa, they see these people on the left. Well, how come Texas was allowed to do it? Texas? Okay. Let's do this. Texas, Virginia. Okay. So we're going to do a little lesson here for the slow on intake liberals, okay? You see these two words on the screen? You see this one? That one says Texas. This one right here says Virginia. Now, they're two different words, right? Meaning they're two different states. And you know that like when you go to different states, sometimes they have different rules about things. For example, firearms. Some states have legalized marijuana. Some states have less restrictions on abortion. Some states are sanctuary states. My point is, because you see the two, again, Texas, Virginia. They're two separate states, two separate places, with two separate batches of rules. The Texas state constitution does not have a procedure that must be followed regarding redistricting. The Virginia state constitution does. Oh, that's why. Texas is allowed to do it. How come Virginia not allowed to do it? Texas was allowed to do it because they have different rules than Virginia. And it looks like the Democrats in Virginia broke the rules. I know, shocking. Democrats broke the rules. They never break the rules. Yeah, they do. They always break the freaking rules. And they broke the rules again, according to this judge. Where's it going to go? I don't know. But if this judge is pointing out a procedural boo-boo that was made here, then perhaps this does get struck down forever when it gets through the Virginia State Supreme Court and if it goes up to the United States Supreme Court. Okay, let's move on. We got to move on to what I have been dying to talk about for almost 48 hours. But before we do that, we have to get to a word from our friends over at, who do you think it is? It's Cove Pure. Cove Pure, folks. Thank you, everybody in the chat, by the way. Apparently, a lot of people have been ordering these Cove Pure units. I got some really good feedback, so that's really cool. I think you're all going to like it. If you ordered a Cove Pure unit, have you got it yet? If you ordered a Cove Pure unit, did you get your unit yet? Is my question. Because if you did, I'd love to hear how you like it. Cove Pure is amazing. It is the one of the best ways to purify your drinking water. Most people know that there's chlorine in their tap water. They smell it, they shrug, and then they just drink it. Because they've been told that's what keeps the water safe. What they haven't been told is what chlorine becomes after it is added to your water. That's the biggest problem. You know, the chlorine keeps your water safe, but what happens after the chlorine gets in there? What happens when it reacts with some of the stuff in your body? Well, what you find out when you do a little bit of that research, once you do that, you'll be like, hey, I want a Cove Pure too. Chlorine itself isn't even the biggest problem. Chlorine levels in your water are absolutely regulated, but what's not regulated is the chemicals that form when the chlorine reacts with naturally occurring organic matter in your water. Okay? From particles from rivers, soil, plant matter, that all makes it through the treatment process. It creates a chemical byproduct called THMs. The government calls THMs probable human carcinogens, and they've been linked to disruption of your gut and cancer. Those pitcher filters that you get at the store aren't going to fix the problem either. They improve the taste of the chlorinated water, but THMs require something far more powerful, and that is exactly what Cove Pure is. The Clearwave technology. Their Clearwave reverse osmosis technology is certified to remove up to 99.9% of contaminants. It's not just chlorine or THMs. It's also fluoride, PFAs, pharmaceuticals. If it's not water, Cove Pure takes it out. Now, one of my favorite features about this thing is it strips the water of everything. You get totally pure water, but before it lands in your pitcher and then in your cup, it puts calcium and magnesium back into the water. So you're not just drinking the empty water. You're drinking some form of mineralized water, which is good stuff. Clean water is one of the best investments you can make for yourself and your family's health. Because I partnered with Cove Pure, they're giving you $250 off if you use my link. Go to covepure.com, covepure.com/Sean. Don't wait. This offer is going to end at some point. So $250 off, covepure.com /Sean, SHAWN, covepure.com /Sean, SHAWN. We froze the water, and then it created the ice spikes.
Like ice cubes.
And apparently that happens when you have extremely pure water. So there it is. We have that. Covepure.com /Sean. Check them out and keep supporting them. Appreciate it. And keep supporting us with that link. We appreciate that very much. What do you got?
We had one person say they got it and loved it.
Yes!
And Zach says his is coming in today.
All right. Got it and loved it. We like it's a little big, but
don't be like me and not put the things in all
when
the
you
way.
put the filters in, very important. Make sure you spin, you twist it all the way into the closed position, not halfway, or else your unit won't work. All right. It is time. It is time. It is time. It is time. The SPLC, the Southern Poverty Law Center. Where do we even begin? Let's begin with Todd Blanche's remarks on this unbelievable. Oh, nothing is happening. Yeah, this happened. And take it from somebody who has been targeted by the SPLC. Not only is this something that's happening, this is something that I am very, very happy is happening. We talk about going after NGOs and going after the people who are funding the chaos. The SPLC is one of those NGOs that is funding the chaos, according to this government indictment. So let's take a look and a listen to Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche, who, by the way, I'm just saying, Department of Justice has been pretty damn good ever since Scam Blondie left, right? Okay, so here you go. Todd Blanche giving you and basically telling everybody what the deal was with the SPLC and why they brought this indictment.
Good afternoon. Today, a few minutes ago, in the Middle District of Alabama, a grand jury returned an 11-count indictment charging the Southern Poverty Law Center with 6 counts of wire fraud, 4 counts of bank fraud, and 1 count of conspiracy to commit money laundering. According to the charges in the indictment, the SPLC is a nonprofit entity that purports to fight white supremacy and racial hatred by reporting on extremist groups and conducting research to inform law enforcement groups with the goal of dismantling these groups. As the indictment describes, the SPLC was not dismantling these groups. It was instead manufacturing the extremism it purports to oppose by paying sources to stoke racial hatred. The indictment describes this conduct in detail, but one troubling example is that the SPLC was paying a member of the leadership group that planned the Unite the Right protest in Charlottesville, Virginia in 2017 that resulted in the death of 1 person and injured dozens more. This particular person being paid by the SPLC allegedly received approximately $270,000 over the course of 8 years.
So the SPLC, according, again, in fairness, they will have their day in court. They're innocent until proven guilty. But the allegation is that the SPLC was funding the people they were claiming to fight against. Huh. Yeah, who does that sound like? Who does that? Who creates problems and then sells you the solution? Let's just think about that. Who's out there campaigning right now? Oh, affordability. Who caused the affordability crisis? You bad baby, right? Who caused the affordability crisis? Democrats. Don't you let these people who caused the problem now sell you the solution? And what is the Democrats' solution for affordability? Tax everybody more. No, Sean, they say they just want to tax the rich. They're not just going to stop with the rich. That's what the income tax was supposed to do. And now we all pay, don't we? Do not let the people who tell you that there's a problem that they created sell you the solution. Big Pharma. Why do they do this every December? Oh, the new strain of COVID. Make sure you go get your COVID vaccines. Why do they do that? Because they have to make money. They're telling you there's a problem. This is why people don't trust mechanics, right? Oh, I don't know what that mechanic's doing under my car. Every time I leave, something else is broken. He's probably in there pulling stuff and breaking things. So you go back. This is why people don't trust doctors. Doctors don't make money on healthy people. They make money on sick people. So it's like, is my doctor trying to make me sick so that I keep going to my doctor's office so that I keep paying my doctor to make me healthy? What interest is it in for my doctor for me to be healthy? This is the argument, but this is what the SPLC appears to have been doing. Here's Kash Patel's response or his remarks from that press conference a couple days ago about the SPLC. Here.
Thank you, General Blanche. What we're here today is to announce what the General just told you. The Southern Poverty Law Center, in a massive, sweeping indictment, has been charged with allegations of fraud and using the banking system to perpetrate that fraud. I just want to talk about a couple of brief things here. The Southern Poverty Law Center themselves advertised to raise money to dismantle violent extremist groups for a period of at least a decade. They used their donor network to raise money to purportedly dismantle violent extremist groups. However, the SPLC, the Southern Poverty Law Center, used the money they raised from their donor network to actually pay the leadership of these very groups. I just want to say that again. They used the fraudulently raised money by lying to their donor network, thousands of Americans, to go ahead and actually pay the leadership of these supposed violent extremist groups.
All right, I don't want to play the whole thing because it's a long clip, but folks, I'm going to just think of this. So the SPLC, they start off by taking down the KKK, right? Way back at their inception, arguably a good thing, right? Objectively, not arguably, objectively a good thing. It's not arguably a good thing. I'm happy the Klan is essentially gone. They served a great purpose. A great purpose at their inception. But then they stared down the barrel of an existential crisis. If the racism and the extremism and the hate and all these things are gone at a systemic level, then there's no reason for the SPLC to exist. And if there's no reason for the SPLC to exist, then there's no reason for people to donate their money to the SPLC. So what does the SPLC have to do? They have to find a reason to exist. They have to create a reason to exist rather than maybe take on another cause. Hey, we started by taking out the Klan. Now we're going to do this, whatever. You rebrand your organization or you become an organization that does something different and you evolve with the times. No. They stuck with the same model. We're going to continue to fight the extremism. Even though the extremism is gone, we're going to actually create more extremism. We're going to fund people. They're going to go out there and have these horrible rallies and horrible protests and all this. And then we're going to say, do you see that guy right there, that David Duke guy? You got to donate to us. We're going to stop him. You're paying him. Why does this mean so much to me? Because I was targeted by the SPLC back when I lived on Long Island. Kevin and I went through hell after they did this. We had a well-oiled machine rolling and winning school board races, county level races, district attorney races, county executive level executive races, state assembly races, state senate races, congressional races. In the fall of 2021, over in Smithtown on Long Island, the teachers union sunk tons of their money into a school board race, and they got their asses kicked and their balls kicked in by a bunch of grassroots activists. It was embarrassing for them. And so then school board season rolls around again the next year. And the SPLC comes out with this garbage. Southern Poverty Law Center lists 2 Long Island groups as anti-government. Anti-government. Now, how does it make us anti-government when we are quite literally trying to get people elected into government. And I said this to a bunch. This might get colorful, guys. I'm just telling you because this has been 4 years of having to hear about the SPLC and all this garbage about, oh, you're an anti-government extremist. How am I an anti-government? And this is to the shithead known as Nicholas Spangler over at Newsday. Okay? Who, he's too much of a pansy in public. Oh, and I try to write a fair article. We give him quotes and then we get this type of garbage in there. Craig Schneider, who was my best friend on the phone, treated me and then writes an absolute just nonsense piece in Newsday. By the way, those two guys have my number. Did I get a call from both of those fucksticks? Of course not. Do you understand what this crap did to us? Here you go. Here it is. Senator Anna Kaplan, a state senator in the state of New York, cites the Newsday article, puts a target on my back, comparing me and Kevin to Timothy McVeigh, who murdered children in Oklahoma City. Do you understand what this did? The people that this hurt? The danger that this put us in? Oh, yeah, you want to see the Senator Kaplan post? She posted this one on 3 posts, on 3 of her pages. There it is. There's the Newsday article. Okay? The same Newsday article that is on her website. The same Newsday article that piece of that colostomy bag of a human being, Nicholas Spangler. I'm talking to you, you piece of human garbage, Spangler. I know you're watching. If you're not watching, I'm going to get this to you. You are a piece of human garbage for what you did. And you knew what you were doing. You're a hack, you're an activist, and you are a piece of human garbage. Watch, look at this. This is the same Newsday article that she's citing. Here is the picture. This is from our first rally. Sean Ferris used a loudspeaker to address a crowd at a pro-Trump rally in Copiague on September 6, 2020. Southern Poverty Law Center lists 2 Long Island groups as anti-government. All right, so let's go to Anna Kaplan's website again and get into this article. Originally published by Newsday. Nassau County-based Long Island Mutual Assistance Group and Suffolk County-based Long Island Loud Majority were among 488 extreme anti-government groups active in 2021. According to a report by the Montgomery, Alabama-based Southern Poverty Law Center. This, again, is on a state senator's website. This is an elected official spreading this crap. Leaders from the groups disputed the law center's descriptions of their organizations. Mutual Assistance calls its members service-minded citizens, loud majority supporters, or patriots, quote, tired of watching their liberties eroded away by an ever-expanding government. The listing does not imply the groups are engaged in criminal activities. Oh? No, it doesn't? But it is intended to bring public scrutiny to groups whose activities the law center says are anti-democratic. The Law Center categorizes anti-government groups separately from hate groups. Anti-government groups tend to be motivated by the belief that the government is tyrannical and may traffic in conspiracy theories, the center said. Hate groups target people based on characteristics such as race, religion, and gender identity. Loud Majority is, quote, more political in its interests and involvement, the Law Center researcher Rachel Carroll Rivas said. So this bitch says that we are more political, but somehow anti-government? And a state senator is sharing this crap. She says the following, which is complete bullshit, folks. It has made what we call threats of political violence around issues of vaccines, masking, COVID restrictions. She said there's also anti-LGBTQ activity and targeting students in schools around issues of education and inclusive communities. We didn't target students. We never targeted students. We targeted teachers who were hiding gender transitions from parents. We targeted the curriculum. We never once targeted students. But this piece of work decided she was going to say that in this article in her thing. Loud Majority co-founder Sean Farish, 31, of West Babylon, disputed the Law Center's characterization of his organization. Quote, "We're not anarchists, we're not revolutionaries, and we're certainly not violent," he told Newsday. Loud Majority was formed in 2020, the year Farish used Facebook to organize a Copeg to Shirley convoy to support then President Donald Trump. The group later mobilized parents around the issues of school masking. Because we stayed loud, they have chosen to capitulate to us, he said in a podcast last June after the state lifted an order that required masking in schools. Anna Kaplan took issue with something that I said on a podcast, and that made her post this beauty, comparing me to Timothy McVeigh, a terrorist. Let me read this to you. It's on your screen. Citing the same article, "We all know the consequences of allowing extremist anti-government ideology to flourish unchecked because we lived through Ruby Ridge, the Oklahoma City bombing, and the murderous insurrection at the U.S. Capitol." Well, I, for one, am happy that she said these things because it gave us the motivation to get her ass out of office. This has been a long time coming. That put a target on our backs. And sure, the SPLC didn't compare us to Timothy McVeigh, but it gave ammunition to that piece of Anna Kaplan to then make a comparison that bringing parents to school board meetings and organizing in a grassroots fashion on Long Island was comparable to Ruby Ridge and Oklahoma City? Are you kidding me? So now we find out that the SPLC, again allegedly, is funding the very people they claim they want to stop. They put us on that group. What did we do that was so bad? Jackie could tell you. We did food drives. We collected over 300 frozen turkeys in November of 2020 and donated them to a homeless shelter. Yeah, we're real extreme. You know what we were extreme about? We were extreme about actually helping people and not just running our mouths and flapping our gums like the former state senator Anna Kaplan. Like the pieces of shit who write at Newsday. We actually did stuff and helped people. And took your crap in the media and took the targets and took the slings and took the arrows and watched as candidates had to distance themselves from us because they didn't want to be associated with somebody on the hate map. Even though they knew that we were not what the SPLC was characterizing us to be. Go back to Kaplan. Anna Kaplan criticized what I said on a podcast. I said the L's, the G's, and the B's are not the problem, but when you get to the T's, that's when things start getting dangerous. Because you've got kids in a school, in a middle school, we saw the sign in Manhasset. Gender transformation coach coming to speak to the kids. The hell's that doing in a middle school? 13 years old, we're doing this? It's dangerous. You convince a 13-year-old that she should have a double mastectomy or start taking hormone blockers, you're ruining that kid's life for the rest of that kid's life. It's dangerous. I called it out. She had a problem with that. Extremist groups thrive when they can spout their hatred and conspiracy theories unchecked by those who fear confrontation or those who cravenly align themselves with such groups for political gain. Groups as such are cynically pretending to stand for freedom and our Constitution while disgracing our American values and undermining our institutions. She welcomed the listing of the group on the SPLC. Loud majority has endorsed school board and library board candidates in Smithtown, Nassau County, and Supervisor Bruce Blakeman and Representative Lee Zeldin, both Republicans, posted a picture on its Facebook account of those men smiling alongside Farish and others in loud. Oh no! Lee Zeldin and Bruce Blakeman were smiling in a picture! Isn't it interesting that this piece of shit, Nick Spangler, wrote this article, said, oh, Zeldin, smiling in a picture, and 2 months after that, someone tried to stab him? No one ever holds this asshole accountable for the things he writes. Rivas from the Law Center said loud majority's members cozy up to politicians to flex their power and appear bigger. We, however, are concerned about the growth of the group. Oh, of course you are, because we were effective. And somebody got on the phone with you and told you, take them out. Lee Zeldin in an email said, these reports are meant to serve SPLC's own biased political agenda and should not be taken seriously. Conflating someone who is pro-freedom and pro-liberty with the title of anti-government is dangerously un-American. Thank you, Lee Zeldin. And we hope you're the next Attorney General. And we hope when you become the next Attorney General that you nail their asses to the wall. Because it's what they deserve. The target that they put on our backs, they knew we're not an anti-government group. We're not some extremist group. And now, here comes some of the good stuff. The SPLC funded some of the organizers of the quote-unquote Unite the Right rally. What was the Unite the Right rally? Do you remember? That was Charlottesville, where Donald Trump, the find people hoax. Remember the Charlottesville rally? Everyone loves to talk about that. Oh, white supremacy, systemic racism, white supremacy. Oh, wasn't it interesting? I find it very interesting. I'm just asking questions. You can't get mad at me for asking questions. That's the rule. Isn't it interesting that the Charlottesville rally that was funded by the SPLC, allegedly, was where Nick Fuentes was first put on the map. Time magazine article written by Katie Riley, student who attended Charlottesville white supremacist rally, leaves Boston University after backlash. Huh. And what student would that be? Huh. It's Nick Fuentes. Interesting. Nobody knew who he was until the Charlottesville rally that had one of its organizers receiving hundreds of thousands of dollars from the SPLC. And isn't it interesting that Nick Fuentes is now encouraging people to vote Democrat in the 2026 midterms after running an op online that was clear as day to divide the right? No. The SPLC would never do something like that. Wait a second. I think that's exactly what could be going on here. I don't BS you. I don't make things up. I don't say things for the sake of saying them. I say them because I believe they're true. I believe there's going to be a lot of information that comes out about the SPLC and who they were funding and who they were working with in order to target otherwise good people. They targeted me. They targeted Kevin on Long Island when we were working together with Loud Majority. They targeted many other conservatives across the country, listing them on their website as anti-government extremists to get people to distance themselves from them, to dismantle these groups, all while also funding some extremists themselves so that when the extremists acted up, they were able to point to them and say, you see these extremists? They're acting up. You better donate to us so we can put an end to that. Frauds. All of them. They knew what they were doing, and they knew the ammunition they were giving to those local politicians. And unfortunately, it worked in many of those cases. But now, maybe we will see justice. The step in the right direction. All right, folks, a word from our friends over at Silent. It's slnt.com, slnt.com/Sean. And that was 4 years worth of pent-up rage about that listing. Because what we were doing on Long Island was objectively good. But just the Democrats didn't like it. We were doing good stuff there. And it has had a lasting impact. Long Island is still red 6 years after the fact. And what's the overarching message here? No matter where you are, whether you're on Long Island, New York, or you're in some state somewhere else, Washington State on the other side of the country, never be afraid to get up and stand up and make a difference. Because you don't know the downstream effects of the difference that you might make. Long Island is still red. Both counties are run by Republicans. Both county legislatures are run by Republicans. Are they perfect? No. But it's sure as hell better than the alternative. And the state is more competitive as a result. All right. Let's get to a word from our friends at Silent, silent.com/SHAWN. Let's face it, folks, your phone is a tracking device between government agencies, big tech, corporate data brokers, even cyber criminals. They're all fighting for a piece of your digital footprint, and they don't ask. They just take it. That is why Silent exists. Silent makes Faraday gear that blocks all wireless signals, including cellular, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, GPS, RFID, and near-field communications. You know what no signal means? It means no tracking, no remote access, and no breadcrumbs. It's the same technology trusted by special operations teams around the world, used to block signals, avoid surveillance, and secure communications wherever the mission leads. And right now it is available to you so you can protect your family, you can protect your freedom, and you can secure your digital footprint. All you got to do is drop your phone in a Silent Faraday sleeve and it's off the grid, completely silent and invisible to the outside world. From their backpacks to their sleeves to their crossbody, Silent's patented technology gives you total control of your privacy. Just visit slnt.com/Sean. Get 15% off and free shipping on qualifying orders. That is slnt.com/SHAWN. slnt.com/Sean. Protect your rights, secure your data, and stay one step ahead. Silent.com. Silence the chaos. Go silent today. slnt.com/SHAWN. Silent.com/Sean. All right. You think I made my point on the SPLC?
Yeah, I think so. That was good. That was nice. Active. People got pumped.
It felt good.
Yeah.
It felt good.
Yeah.
I want Nicholas Spangler from Newsday. There are things that I'd like to say. I already said the things that I want to say. I don't need to say them again. I would like to hear from him. Don't make me come up there. All right. How about that slob, David Ambro, who I punked with Holden McGroin? What's he up to? Other than nothing. All right. What do we got left? What do we have left here? We have... What do we have? Okay. How about a timeline cleanse, shall we?
Yeah.
We'll end on a nice note. There are these two guys online who have been on fire. They're making fun of influencer culture, you know? These girls that go in there, I'm trying a new drink today, and they get ready for Coachella, and they're doing all the crazy stuff. They have been making fun of the influencer culture, and I have loved every second of it. This is their bit on influencers doing things around the house. It is so funny. Check this out.
Guys, I'm literally freaking out today because I have to clean my house. Guys, I'm literally shaking right now because I'm going to try this drink. The fact it's cold is making me nervous. Oh, I'm literally shaking. Okay. Did it just blow up? Hey guys, today I'm going to be taking the cookies out of the oven. Oh my gosh. It's in it. Oh my gosh, the cookies are baked. You guys, look. I'm so scared. I'm really scared. I just got this new pool and I'm like kind of scared it's gonna get me wet. So I'm like freaking out right now. Let's just try it. Oh my gosh. It's actually wet, you guys. Okay guys, this whole pool is gonna be linked in my shop. All the way in. Oh my gosh. It's actually really deep. I'm gonna be unboxing a box from Amazon. I know, crazy you guys. I've never unboxed a box before. I ordered lemons. I'm so scared though, because I don't know what to expect. Oh my gosh, what is it gonna be? Oh my gosh, my lemons. I'm like a little nervous of the color of the lemons. I wasn't sure if that's...
There it is, guys. I ordered lemons and I don't know what to expect. Oh my gosh, there's lemons. I hope they never stop. I hope they never stop. The Coachella stuff is funny. Yeah. You know, they're wearing like paper, plastic bags on their wrists and whatnot. It's too good. Those guys are great. All right. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for watching and listening and enduring the rant on the SPLC. I had to get that off my chest. I was going to be part of yesterday's show, and then we lost the internet, so there was a little bit of madness in there as well for not being able to come on and stream with you yesterday. Jeremy Harrell is up next here with Live from America on rumble.com/LFA TV, rumble.com/LFA TV. Make sure you're following that. Make sure you subscribe to us anywhere you get your podcast. As President Trump says, we will never give up, we will never give in, and we will never ever surrender. And if all else fails, we'll just become ungovernable. Thank you. God bless you. God bless this one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Have a great rest of your Thursday. Thursday. It is Thursday. I had to remind myself that it is Thursday. That's right. Have a great rest of your Thursday. We will be back with you live tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. Eastern Time, rumble.com/LFA TV. We'll have phone calls. Second half of the show, we're going to have a ton of illegal alien stories for tomorrow that I was going to get to today, but couldn't obviously get to today. So we will have all of that for you tomorrow morning. And also on 1210 WPHT, I'll be on from 7:45 to 9:45 for the Cut Sheet Fight Club and their remote broadcast remote broadcast tomorrow at the pet adoption event. So that's going to be really cool. Again, thanks again for watching and listening. Have a great rest of your day. We'll be back tomorrow. Jeremy Harrell up next. Thank you for your attention to this matter.